Hello, my name is K.H. Hauser, and welcome to Tiny Bunny, a story-driven game where you, as a child, make a lot of choices, and these choices that you make, I'll get a drink of water, determine the outcome of the world around you, I believe. I don't know much. I was looking through Steam, saw it was highly rated, and yeah, first computer game on my channel. So, start a new game. What are these? I don't know what any of these buttons are. What's that? Oh! Like a save. I see ice. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneering, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was my imagination. I was already 12, after all. Still. Oh, hey! Is that a fox? Okay, before we go, I honestly, I don't know much about this. Like I said, I know it's story, and I'm assuming choices you make determine stuff. And if that's the case, I'm excited for it. I love these kind of games. Let's save here just in... Ooh, empty slot! I saved. I want to overwrite my save. I just clicked like 50 times. Okay. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. What's wrong with slouch? Hide. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Ole had already finished her breakfast and was bunching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. I've never had porridge. Don't know if it's any good. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night. The black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the low, lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Probably very horrifying, considering you can't see your hand. What was it? What movie was it? Underwater? Underneath? It had, Oh no, what's her name? Or how cold the black forest is at night. Now I'm gonna be bothered. The spoon fell out of my hand. Underwater? I think it's underwater. Mom showered me with a cold glare from green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. Underwater. Underwater has, underwater. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. Accidentally, my phone went off. I felt around for the spoon. What's this, carved on the other side of the table? I like how she's just sitting there munching. Capina? Captain Ha? Captain Ha. I guess that is an R. Karina. Hey, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. Imagine her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Are the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Can I do a granny voice? Taiga has a special place, little girl. That is horrifying! It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the bed. Ground. Drag you under the ground, possibly bed too. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, she never yelled and never swore. Like my grandmother! Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for a funeral. She had already bought a casket. Wow. That's morbid. And she called it her cute funeral box. That's even worse. It waited for its time in the closet. Patiently. It was black upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. Red, pink, tan! I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures of the grave faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table and took another sip of a drink. Olia was done with the cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Olia, look! It's a fox! Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put in the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look at a certain angle. Not outside on the window! Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Yes, just a moment. What was that deepening noise? That's not a lie. Yes, mother, I'm a man now. I am 12. I will eat my porridge when I'm ready. Now I'm looking at a fox made out of ice on the window. Thank you. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. It does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. I don't see it either. I do see what looks like a Venus flytrap. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to the stretched out nestled leaves, kept creeping up out of the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Beards are overrated, kid. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks are an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this, through the wall. And back to cookies. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Disaster? D-I-V-O. DVR? I didn't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talk again. You believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them in the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father or two, and still. Ooh, Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already.
And the owl.
There was no owl. Wow, Dad.
But there was one! It had giant glowing eyes!
Olia sprung up the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with the fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Bye-Bye in your closet. Can I click on that? Last year you had Bye-Bye in your closet, now this owl. What happens if I click on that? Nope.
But I saw it!
Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me. Couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice?
Don't bully your girl. She's afraid to sleep alone because she's still little.
Olia powdered her lips in rebellion and rushed to the hallway. Olia! Olia, my big, strong, small girl. Actually, small, weak, little girl, scared of owl. And Bye-Bye. What is Bye-Bye? The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. That looks like an ad for some like Gardenscapes or something. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply, then left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute passed, and the theme song of The Little Mermaid echoed it through our house. Part of your world? Did I lose sound? I don't know. What happens if... Did I lose sound? I did not! Okay, sound just stopped. Oh, is it singing Part of Your World? Part of your world. It's so easy to fix objects. By gluing them together... Wait, did I miss something? Oh! Oh! A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had already glued together at once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved into this house. She would toss and turn and curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Oh, God! And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe the owl was just one of her nightmares. That doesn't look nightmarish! After the night, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. Oh, I'm not... Okay. Oh yeah, I just moved. Okay. 2 and 2 didn't click. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of the new term. My imagination drew long, twisted hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside these holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Oh, like the thing we just saw! Their cruel glares, filled with my icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? That damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I don't want to go out there that badly. I didn't want people to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. What, these drawings? Or those drawings?
What is that? I don't know. I mean, that's a castle. That looks like a jet. That looks like a cat. There's I'm assuming Triceratops. Is that a cactus?
If it's cold, succulents don't do well in the cold.
The house might be warm enough. The The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine my mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Is that Doctor? Anton is not around. Anton is not around. There's a Dr. Anton. I don't know. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. My voice is wonky. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all? But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little. Now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9th-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easy, going during the day. Oh, this is past tense. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was catching me from every corner, almost as if these old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. This sounds like something like Final Fantasy VIII. I'm thinking like Adia's, like you mess with Adia or Ultimicia's castle. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Oh. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It's kind of loud. It was mixed with the sound of the wind, the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It sounded like someone is playing it there amidst the cold snowy night, right? I'm gonna save. Because you never know what's about to happen. Oh! I see animals. Fox, bear. Is that an owl? A bird? Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. That looks like a bear. I think I see a fox. They stood upright, most likely there was a bunny, a tiny bunny. They stood upright at times, circling around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Uh-oh. Suddenly the music had stopped. That is spooky. See, I'm assuming that's fox, that looks bird, bear, maybe other fox or wolf, and I don't know what that is. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival, and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh, I did not like that sound. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside of a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. That was spooky. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened as some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral, my grandmother lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandmother's casket. Ugh. I imagine those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Ugh! Why do you imagine this? Kid, you're 12! That's not things 12-year-olds are supposed to be imagining! What the heck? Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. Okay, this kid has something wrong. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now lying under the blanket and listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blessed sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn of from Devil's Lair to feast and always leave alone. God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds have disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intensely, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees and placed my chin between them, and drilled the floors with my eyes. Drilled the door with my eyes. Sorry, I'm slightly dyslexic. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then... oh no! The doorknob twitched. Slightly. That's not slightly. And then it turned halfway. Once. Twice. As if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. Oh, goodness gracious. I have no phone buzz. It's not important. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now, you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tony. I was clicking, it wasn't doing anything. I missed something. I was clicking, it wasn't working. Oh. Okay. It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. Why is my mouse slow? I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. This is spooky. Tony! Tony! My abdomen tightened, and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. Before I was able to do anything, darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? Oh! My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olia? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. You know what? I thought she was weird. I mean, in the back of my mind, I thought it's a child. Children imagine things. What I just saw, however long ago, dancing in the field, I don't think this is fake. I think she actually sees something. Shoo her away, Tony. Please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. It was a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's gonna harm you. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window and it couldn't be fooled by grandmother's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Holy cow! Okay. I don't like those sounds. Them sounds is bad. I think them sounds are bad. That scared me even more! That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and Al. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Hello? Who could be visiting us here, in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. Yes, I hear the doorbell. So persistent. I was extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragging them toward the hallway. Oh, a couple policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she seemed somewhat confused. She looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded. A boy has gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. Yo, hi, dude. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. Were one of the creatures a cat? No, I haven't. Are you sure? We'll look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right! Your window looks straight at the forest, don't they? Windows. The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit, it's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Yes, they are gray eyes. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy to end his unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it. You look like one of my nephews, old fella. He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same types of goggles. Always engrossed in reading with those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school and his family visited this summer. Want to help other people? Just like me, see? Wanted to help other people just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mama interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Mom is kind of a snarky person. Ah, well then. What grade do you in, Tony boy? 6th? Ever made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me, if you have any new info. The policemen were gone with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. And a door creaking. His face stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom? This Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window, at the road. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels, from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. Oh no. Oh, I see where this is going. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. After a set of amazing adventures, BAM! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Yep. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy. I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about the quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi. Okay, I'm assuming this, 90s? And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. A whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's an annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what the accountant's job was. What was the account? I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had any money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Olya and I? Gosh, you're in 6th grade, kid! Sometimes I gave her my share, too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside! Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse. What could be worse, Mother? Do you know something that I don't? Click. Click. Even worse. Echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Oh, that's annoying. What is this? Oh, interesting. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? Wait a minute! She hates it when I stick my nose in there. She is afraid I'll cut myself with a freshly sharpened axe. But Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. What is Babai? I'm gonna look up Babai. Or is it Babai? Oh, it's an educational threat. Oh, children who get up at night are kidnapped by this mysterious creature. Huh. So I'm guessing it means you gotta stay in bed. Okay. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, but Dad's tools and scratched walls. She still doesn't believe me. Didn't. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3! Better hide from me! And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played it with when she was little, then gifted it to me. Olya was next into the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. Wait, I gave it to her? She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister is a little bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. I can look at the cross has seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it was absorbed all human sin from long years. It was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with a cross at a sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. My parents prohibited me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and distant crackling, imagining the wind howling and the ice-leaden chords. Okay. I'm gonna go to the kitchen. A lot of stuff to look at. The side of the old ocean freezer was checked with childish drawings. Mom's recipes and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya liked so much. Okay. Oh, okay. What's on? Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer. Oh, who visited us. Okay, I just can't read Russian. First Lieutenant Tikhonov? I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by two pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. Open! Open! That looks wonky. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I can only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. I don't think that's... I kinda don't trust the mom. Americana, Russia has declared a state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, the cyclone is moving forward toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Okay. The decrepit and stain covered calendar. Oh, the decrepit and stain covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running down to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the tiger forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants, they only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring an 8th from the ferry. I got something stuck in my throat. They will take it away and never come back. This is a fate the log cannot escape. Okay. I crumpled the gray leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotted paper. Is that everything? Nope. Is that a crossword puzzle? I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical line. Vertical. 9 letters. Name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, Lord of the Flies. Never actually read the book. Second letter is B. That's all. Okay. It's difficult to lie to Mom, but there's no other way for me to run away from home. Oh no. Mom! Something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Oh, you're killing me here. So you've had enough of shooting these stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope would go dim because of your console? Where will we find a TV technician of this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Oh, maybe it's just the settings. Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mom rubbed her hands clean of her apron and went to Olia's room. Oh no, I'm gonna get in so much trouble! Okay. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. Why? Why? I'm gonna get in so much trouble. I didn't know that's what it was gonna be. I thought I was gonna have I knew it wanted to be a path, but I didn't think this would be the only path. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. What is it? The Crucible. I remember reading The Crucible, and it talked about witches dancing around in the forest. So I wonder, are these witches? That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling in the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. My parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Some of it's a little bit of weird translations. Our apartment became numb of a couple days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all that was in a previous life. But when they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with cold, dead eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms in the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Hello, me! I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, this white field, and the wind. There was only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast to the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. What is that? Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging at one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. It's not to your knees, it's barely to your ankles. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. When I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? The senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show, The Streets of Broken Lights. He was always so anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help me find the lost boy? Vova. I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I don't see anything. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. Something was unsettling about that figure. What figure? Its stillness. How was it bent unnaturally toward the ground? Where? Where? It's blackness. I don't see anything. Am I nuts, or I truly don't see anything? I see tree, 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 more tree, 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 tree. Big tree, big tree. Or wait, what is that right there? That's way down there. There's no one there. Just branches and roots. Yeah! It's all my imagination. I knew it! A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Ah! Okay. Maybe it's not your imagination. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. I didn't see anything. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was was beating somewhere in my throat. Hold on. Roommate texted me. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. It looks like he's halfway through a dance. I looked at the mitten once more. Ooh, do I want to go into the spooky darkness? I think I want to take. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Ooh. Ah! Over. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to clean my phone. It didn't budge. I pulled hard and the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. Oh no. All too heavy. Wet. Oh no. I squeezed without thinking with something dark spilled, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. It's so loud. Blood? No, it's black paint! I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. It'd be neat as if there was like a face there, and it would be horrifying if there was a face there and a face there watching just the eyes. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. The snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. I moved. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. I'm stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to get caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone, or something in the snow was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forwards. The pressure on my legs was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on hard surfaces again. He was in mud. I reached a clear path and then jumped from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed it. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if the dog was striking the wood with his paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. Now look at the birds! The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I sunk a glance at the door. The smell was gone. The breath was gone too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked at me the same as before all those quarrels. Excuse me. She finally saw my conditions, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out, "Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snap them? Were you smoking in secret?" There was something chasing me. I thought. I stuttered as I soon started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. She then squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there! At the fence! My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again. My pursuers were following me in the field. I could have swore that I've heard something scratching at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with a finger and gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. Oh. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays with no name and no owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, you were scared of them? I think I'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me. Like a bunny. What if they're rabid? The smile slowly disappeared from her mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was the first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe? Friends or foe, after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze in the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Oh gosh. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. The boy the police were asking about this morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer told us to. Mom, look! Ew! A shadow of doubt slowly crept into my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop at this moment! Olya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? At that moment I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. Huh. Pills? I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home and you... Dad would have given you a good whooping for that. Come on, take it or you won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. I do? So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten after all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom. I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes. What is going on? Did she give me a drug? As if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not... As if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different. Dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva in my mouth had a different taste. Ew! A melody from Aladdin could be heard on the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes. Oh, and switched to the tape. Oh, the show! I remember the shows. I slowly changed my home clothes, stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Got a lot of stuff to look at. My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afrovenators, Hypsilophontans. I think it's right. I remember going to the movies at Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures of the T-Rex in the hall. Neat. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome! And the next to it was a Robotech transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, I wonder if that's what that is. You know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentradi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. I want to look over here. The forest doesn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness into my eyes. But sometimes I would catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. I dreamt of becoming an artist. I dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about Gardemer. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day and seemed to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Monsters, ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olia is scared of this book. She could barely handle sifting through the monsters and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. I remember hunting ghosts after I'd read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the ghost? Is that all? Yep. Okay, open. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. Run for your life! I did. The simple action drained the last bit of my strength from me. I'm drugged. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was something behind the curtains. Is it Olia? My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. Don't tell me this is actually nuts and their parents are giving us crazy pills. The only stable thing in the whole room was a figure between the window sill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It's Olia. Just like a savant of sorts. Olia? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried-up lips. Yeah, Olia, so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly behind the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains, but bud hum beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to turn to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. I knew it! I just looked through there! Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit above Olia's head with the settling sun in the background. Is she holding a rabbit? What is that? What is that? My sister was shining. Oh! Okay. When she was a baby, Dad used to always say she was shining with happiness. I was retorted, but Dad! She's not some flashlight! But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured onto her smiling face. I felt as if I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything! Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, but before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switching to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Olia ran to the table, her round eyes, and asked, You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief? What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from the tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olia couldn't be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me! Swear you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olia wore a plotting smile. I can see that. I swear on Mom's heart. I know she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we watched. That's... okay. Don't say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with the hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. What if it was gone? I opened the drawer and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked as if there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander in the forest? You must really be cold out. He must really be cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everybody. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. Or is that her hoodie? I'm gonna hope that's a hoodie and not just a rabbit staring at me. And why are they going houses to houses? And not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later? For me. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olia as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. I'm thinking Field of Dreams. Sounds cool, right? Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense, an owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? As picking my words with utmost care, I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? Cursed, or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like a spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just, I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. Who texted me? Quit texting me. Oh, Will! Leave me alone, Will! It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and a small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. I can't go anywhere. don't die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died from boredom. And you and me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. You know what I wish for my next birthday? I wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Aww. Yeah, and if you make them small as bugs, we can place them in a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve. That's adorable, and yet for some reason horrifying. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Oh, that's horrifying. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone, and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all our tapes at heart by this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Maybe a little bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know, let's play hide and seek. No, Olia. Draw me a dino? Olia, please. Draw it! Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking and then was immediately taken aback. I'm actually enjoying this. It's spooky. It's a thriller. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olia stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. Oh no! My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her and put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo! You'll fall asleep again! I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you full Triceratops later. Hooray! Siri Pops? Well, close enough. Olia rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'm so happy. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just like how you like it. Wait. Oh, no, she asked it. Oh. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Wanna bet I won't spill it? That is scary. If this was a different game, if I saw that staring at the end of a hallway, I'd be scared. This tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Olia disappeared in the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. It's a piggy bank! Piggy bank. Olia is saving money for a real puppy because Dad said taking care of him will cost a lot of money. Aww. Is that a Rubik's Cube? Yeah. The scary window where Olia sees out a crystal owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olia keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as twilight comes, she shuts them tight so she wouldn't see a pair of hungry eyes outside. Alright, bear. Gosh. Olia's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olia doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. The old Photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. I'm about to see something. The tube warmed up and the familiar white noise started dancing in the black screen. That's a sound I haven't heard in forever. The static. I must reach out to turn on the VCR and the noise calmed down. A blurry image appeared for a moment. I was right. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture itself was split in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV stations only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to watch Used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Oli asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I don't have the strength to do all of it. Oh, my curiosity! But my kind heart! Do I have a coin? I don't have a coin to flip. I'm gonna roll a dice. Odd numbers I set. Even numbers I search. Odd I set. I got a 9. This is a D12. I'm sorry, Olia. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was pitch black at the night of the cemetery. In that fateful dark time, the little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I'll scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with this helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown all over the place. I didn't want to think what the Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face reminded of a homeless one, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen.
Yes, such a distant beastie it is, worse than the rising dead.
The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Wow. I saw that!
And the stink, it's like...
The rest of her comparison was swallowed by the sound of a horn.
I've never felt anything like it. It was just standing there, yes, right where you stand, boyo. It pissed with its eyes, right in the middle of day. It was so huge that one with glassy eyes.
Obscenities were covered by another beep.
You know what they say if the demon lays dots on you? It'll snatch you up and put you into its bag and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the devil's wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Force Master's presence is felt more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it in the VCR theme, looking at the cover. Oh no! I pressed recording and turned the sound up and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All the animals obey it. Be they hairy or feathery, they're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it's most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep, the birds watching you from the trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you. If you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon. Jump scare? Soon. That was a goat. I hate goats. TV went suddenly mad and looping. The last word over and over, piercing my ears. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of beasts. I knew there was one coming! It was a goat! I hate goats! Goats are evil! I woke up with my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected for a moment. I thought it was stained with saliva. But it was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. Then I saw the cover. I recorded over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olia's cartoon, but then I put all this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see it. We'll drown in tears. I stuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glasses and the squeaky floorboards. Olia appeared in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do! Turn around already. Mom will come back with a Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, fake detective. You know what? I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch The Little Mermaid instead? I've already seen it so many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know, let's watch a couple episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first. Deal? Olia found, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her hands on her chest. If you want it so much, can you open the milk can? I'm afraid I'll cut myself with the sharp edges. As I stood up, colorful dots popped before my eyes, and my sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. When I reached the sofa, I realized that the can was already open. Olia had tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush towards the TV, my little sister was faster. No! She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a vicious tone. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha! As a remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan. Oh no, I couldn't even open my mouth in the VCR to play it and then. Black crosses and unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps on the stone, the insane's devil's wench. I better tell the truth. Olia, stop! I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for two of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad have broken off all those plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. Okay. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting this out-of-the-world voice of the narrator. But then I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head heavy as a leaden ball now rested in my hands. Olia smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading milk over her bread. Okay. Never done this. I've heard of people doing this, but... And when the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to Neverland like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagine myself there in a land where no one ever ages, where no one ever argues over little things, where no one listens to fights, and the sound of the broken plates at night. But now Peter Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines. Like a winged carnivore would track its prey. I felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister screamed, pulling me back to reality. Tony! Shut the curtains fast! Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best to look outside toward the treetops, toward the tiger forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists! Honestly, it does. You believe me, right? It comes every night and... I swiftly grabbed Olia's hand and looked into her eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But do I really have these qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna see it pop up. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up and just like Mom and Dad say. You'll get tired of waiting and fly away. Okay, I was expecting it to... It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olia's owl existed. Hey! We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a glided sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped, and she started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. The chorus was singing the ending song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silvery moon. You. Another moon peeked from the first one. Scary and wan. 1, hanging over the taiga forest. Oh, I accidentally clicked too fast. The horrific report got recorded right over the credits. No. My throat went dry, my pulse became faster. I looked towards Olia. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked if it was intact, and carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olia's room. The mitten. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You need to sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with the blanket. Wow, this stupid tap! I covered myself with the blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Oh! Okay. I'm done. Interesting. Spooky. Also spooky. That was impressive. That actually got me. That stupid goat. That was fun. I didn't realize it was I thought it was a full game. I made what, 2 choices? I made 1 choice. 2 choices. That's right, I only made 2 choices. I made the choice of, going outside and then not doing the thing with the tape. But wow, that was good. I'm kind of excited for more. I gotta go follow this, make sure I get an update whenever more stuff comes out. So, yeah! Thank you all for watching. I've been K. Chowser. This has been Tiny Bunny. Stay tuned for whenever the next part comes out. Stay cool and peace out, everybody.